Hey folks, welcome to the channel here at Lucky Loon Outdoors. I'm John. I'm going to go over today the Smith & Wesson Folding Pistol Carbine. This little guy. Give you my thoughts on it. Kind of how it's performed for me, putting some rounds down range on the steel targets behind me. And we'll go over my likes, dislikes, and would I buy it? Let's hit it up. All right, let's talk about components. So here's your bag that it comes with. Open it up. Obviously, you've got the carbine there. We put this on here so you don't lose your little sight adjuster. Comes with your manual, your, lock, rebate cards. We'll put that back in there. Comes with one flush mount magazine, which is currently in the weapon right here. And two additional magazines here. Of course, these are not flush mounted. Catch my drift. And then up in here, we have the different grip sizes that you can swap out. Same thing as M&P pistols. Same exact lower module here. And up here, we've got a carry strap, and no, this carry strap is not for the carbine, it's for the bag. It clips on these D-rings on the back side. So if you want it over your left shoulder, right shoulder, whatever, you'll probably never use it. It's just get in the way, but it comes with it. All right, let's open her up here. So, it does not come with these sights. These were just some sights we've got thrown on there. And to be honest, I don't know if I'd put much more on here than this. Maybe a red dot, I don't know, but this is pretty quick to open up, flip up, and use. Oh, shake wake red dot will probably work pretty well, but this is what we're looking at for components. Let's get a little bit deeper. All right, let's talk about functions. Let's take a little closer look here. So I'm going to drop the magazine out of here, get it out of the way. So your charging handle here, if you can see that, also grabs the fore end. So that's what's holding it in place. I can't pull these apart, right? The only way to pull these apart is to pull back on the charging handle here. That releases because it's grabbing inside of one of the M-locks here. You pull that back and it allows you to flip it open. And of course, this is your lock that holds it in place. And to fold, you can just hit that with your thumb and release, and then you'll be able to lock it shut. So there's your basic functions on how to get her open. So we'll open her up. Now, pistol functions is basically just like an M&P pistol. And the lower module is exactly the same. Same grip modules you can pop out and put in. Reversible magazine release. It's got that little I forget what you call it, but the safety trigger here. And yeah, this is more of a slide catch, not a release. You're not going to be dropping the bolt by hitting this. That's going to be a classic, just pull that back and let go, let her fly. You're not going to be using this. Nor is it really accessible by your hands. So there's your basic functions there. Let's talk about construction and materials. So you got your, obviously, threaded barrel. There's no O-ring on here like there is in all the FNs. So, like, just from shooting, this thing will come loose on you and start to back off. So, I mean, after 200 rounds, it was already about one full turn off. And I had to cinch it down with my hands. So, threaded barrel, do what you do with that. The rail up here is held together. I think it's two pieces sandwiched like this. And they're held together with all these screws going around, and the whole fore end is polymer. It is not a free-floating barrel. It is sandwiched between those two pieces up there. Moving backwards. So you'll notice that pretty much this whole thing is polymer, plastic. Looks like the same material the grip module is made out of down here. Which is strong, but to each their own. I think for the purpose of this little carbine, it probably works just fine. Now, get to your grip module. So the upper and the lower, obviously you can see this is basically a pistol in the lower. It's held together with more screws. These guys here and here. Just same screws that are on the rest of it, it looks like. And then as you move backwards, you have basically an AR-type buffer tube is essentially what this is right here. And then you have your stock on the back end that's got your storage for 2 extra magazines and a teeter-totter switch to release them. So there is your breakdown of components. Let's get a little bit more in depth here. All right, let's talk about my likes and dislikes on the construction of this. So, 1, it's a polymer front end instead of aluminum. For the price you're paying, this should be an aluminum front end and not sandwiched between screws. I don't like that. I also don't like that it's not free floating. I don't see why they couldn't somehow make it work, but you know, it's a carbine. At the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. So, I want this to be aluminum. Other than that, it's not that bad. I'm not really that angry about it. Nitpicky guy here, there's no O-ring or anything on here to hold the thread protector on to keep it from backing off. That's easy to fix by yourself, but it should come with a factory like that, considering how much you're spending on this thing. Next, something that really irritates me is that this rail stops right here. And using these sights, this rear sight really needs to be about here to get the proper sight picture, but you can't do that. Why can't you do that? Because of the way it's constructed. This whole top half, basically the upper receiver, I guess, is what you would call this, and it's because they have this swing away feature on here. What I would like to see is something similar to what you see on shotguns, where this rail continues back, and that allows like people that switch the barrels out in their shotguns to put scopes on them for like deer hunting. I don't see any reason why you couldn't do something similar with this. Thin this piece out, maybe make the upper out of aluminum so it's stronger, so you can make it flatter and continue the rail, bump the camera there, continue the rail back so you'd have more options for optics. Because I can't move it any further back, and it's still not the right sight picture. So this is basically going to leave you using like red dot type optics or sights similar to this or something along those lines. So that annoys me. You extend it back far enough so that it's above the upper and it still allows you to swing it closed and open. That's my other gripe on that one. Okay, one thing that really drives me nuts is this safety. It is extremely irritating. It needs to be up here as a thumb safety that's ambidextrous, or just don't have it. And the reason for it is I'm right-handed, right? Safety's off. Do you think I can put it on with this hand? No, there is no way to reach it. The only way to turn this safety on is to cant it in your hand like this. If you have longer hands like I do, you can barely reach it with the thumb, or you have to use your left hand to turn the safety on and off. That is not acceptable to me. Your functions of the firearm need to be accessible from one hand. So either make it ambidextrous or just don't put the safety on there. All the functions should be accessible by this one hand. Can't do it. Next thing that's irritating is the mag release. It's also not usable in one hand. So what I mean by that is when you have it shouldered, I can't reach the thing with my thumb to release the magazine just because of the way the thing is. I have to cant it to that side of my arm to be able to hit the mag release. Now you may not realize that when you're shooting pistol is you already do that. When you go to drop the mag, typically you'll rotate the pistol in your hand a little bit like this and drop it. Not a big deal. We're talking about a carbine here. You have a whole stock to deal with, and it's not a skinny one. You have to rotate the whole thing out of your shoulder, around your arm, to drop that mag. That's extremely irritating to me. It would be solvable with an extension for the mag release, I think, that you could reach and be able to put pressure on. But as it sits now, you can't use it. When you're shouldered, you can't reach it. So that's extremely irritating. So 2 things off the bat that drive me nuts. Safety and the mag release not being usable. If you're going to be putting 1,000 rounds to this thing in an afternoon, your finger's going to be raw, even with gloves, because this little safety mechanism on the trigger extends out past the trigger. So when it's depressed, all that pressure is going on that blade, and it's uncomfortable. Now, over just a few hundred rounds, not really a big deal. But if you're pumping a lot of rounds through it, your finger's gonna feel that. Otherwise, maybe that's a little bit nitpicky, but I still don't really like that. Other than that, the trigger's fine. It's a standard type of M&P trigger. There's nothing special about it. Nothing super upsetting about it either. On our way back, we're running into more of these screws. And the more screws I see, the more I don't like seeing screws. There are nylock nuts on there to help keep them from backing out. But still, there's a way to build this without having to have screws on everything, holding the whole thing together. And then we get to this guy, our charging handle being on the bottom. I do like that it is not reciprocating. So like the Kel-Tec, that thing will go back and forth as you're shooting. I don't like that. This stays stationary, kind of like an AR. This is like the same. It's like if you took an AR charging handle and flipped it upside down. That's basically what this is doing. Just upside down AR charging handle. On both sides. This side has that notch in it, grabs the front end when it's folded. This side is what releases it, and it allows you to be left or right-handed as well. So that's good. Keeping on moving on back. The stock, when you're shooting, feels fine. I don't have any real complaints there. Your cheek weld is in the right spot. The magazines are not in the way when they're stored in here. The irritating thing is getting them out. So it's a teeter-totter switch. So to get this one out, I have to push down on this side on that button. And to get this one out, I have to push on that side. And I'll show you a little bit more in depth here in a second. The release, not a big deal. You can just hit that with the thumb, comes out, no complaints there. The bolt catch is useless. Again, if you have it out of your shoulder, rotate it around, you can reach it with your thumb to do what you need to do. However, if it is in your shoulder on this side of your arm, you cannot reach it with your thumb, and you can't reach it on this side either because it's too far back to reach with your pointer finger. Like I can barely get my finger curl around that far, but there's no way I'm going to be able to push down on it. So that's useless. It really is the way it's set up, because it's a pistol that's being adapted to a carbine, and half the controls don't really work the way you would want, like an AR would. So it does what it's supposed to do, but you're just going to be using the charging handle to drop your bolt and everything anyway. You're not going to be using this pretty much at all. All right, let's talk about the magazines back in here. All right, I got a magazine in there. So when you're using this, there's really no fast, effective way to pull one of your spare magazines. It's clumsy. So there's basically two different ways you're going to do it. Either going to instinctually grab it like this, and there's no release to be found up here. You got to remember it's back here, and that it's opposite of what you're grabbing and trying to pull out. So you end up grabbing it like this, and then having to rotate and basically use this finger to hit that teeter-totter there to be able to pull it out. And then when you pull it out, guess what's in the way? Charging handle and all the stuff right here, trying to get it out. So you're hitting that with your hand, skinning your nails, whatever, to pull it out. That's method one. Method two is the opposite. That is to go like this and hit that with your thumb and pull out. Now when you do that, you're still racking your fingers through here on this charging handle, which is not pleasant. And if you have gloves on, it's even more frustrating to get out. So there isn't a great way to do it. I think the best way I found to do it is I'm just grabbing it like this, hitting it with that finger, pulling it out, and then, inserting the magazine. And that's the other thing is if you grab it like this, it's facing the wrong way to put it in. And if you grab it like this, it's a little bit harder, and you got to move the weapon more to grab it, and you rack the front of your fingers. But when you rotate, it's closer to the right direction. And you still have to turn it to insert it. So it works. It gets you some spare magazines, but it's not going to be a very fast reload. So what do we learn about this thing? Despite the things that are really irritating about it, it's actually fun. It's actually fun to shoot. It's kind of neat. I'm surprised how accurate it is. I'm shooting it out to 55 yards. I didn't have any need to go further than that. Nor is it designed to really go that far, like very much further than that. But yeah, it is actually a fun little piece of equipment. It's got some good concepts too, like the folding abilities. I like the way it shoots. It doesn't beat you up. I think there's a lot of room for aftermarket improvements. Like I could definitely see a lot of different front ends on this thing coming out that would improve that. There's a lot of room for aftermarket to make this thing killer awesome. So Would I buy it? If I saw one for a good price, like a used one perhaps, I think I might actually buy it if it's used. New, it's too expensive for my blood. Not for what I'm getting. I would actually prefer to take that money and get an AR style carbine. I've already have a couple of them. They're familiar, they're easy, they're cheap to shoot, they're easy to get parts for. Yeah, I think I go AR style carbine. But this is a pretty neat thing in itself. So if you're interested in it, I do suggest taking a look at it. See if there's a shop around you that's got one to shoot. You can go shoot it. I think you will enjoy it. It is fun. I think if you could really deck this thing out, make it pretty sweet, make it unique in yours. But I would love to see aftermarket front ends that would improve this a lot. But yeah, hope you found this helpful. Any questions, let me know. Thanks to our buddy for lending this to us to take a look at. And stay safe. Have fun out there, everybody.